Have you been getting ready to get ready for your next video, speech, business idea, or interview? Have you been lost in preparation? Well, in today's video, we'll be going over why it's so important to explore preparation and be in preparation and be prepared for the things you're going to take action on. But understand that it is a critical first step to take an action, that it's not something to sit in and stay in. It's something to do first and then start taking action, even when you don't feel you're fully prepared. We'll be utilizing the book, The 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication by John Maxwell, covering chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 in today's video to explore preparation and how to prepare for the thing you want to take action on. Let's get into it. For each chapter, I've selected one quote that stood out to me the most. Here's a quote from chapter 1. Trust is a person's greatest asset. When you have established your trustworthiness, people know you possess good motives, that you genuinely want to help others. Okay, so chapter 1 is the law of credibility. Who you are gives credibility to everything you say. If you speak words you do not live, you lack authenticity and your communication will not be successful. This is why it's so important to gather as much experiences as you can. Diving into different experiences can sound scary, and initially you might get butterflies and thinking like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Fear comes across. But what I've learned is that you just do it and you still survive it, and you're glad you did it in the first place. This is why it's so important to stack as many experiences as you can and use that as stories, as leverage, as credibility building when talking with others. Diving into various experiences can sound scary, especially if you've never done those experiences before. But from what I've learned I'm glad that I did those things that I was initially scared of doing, because you survive them. Even if you did terrible at it, whatever that experience was, at least now you can say like, oh, I did that. And if there was some aspect of it that you liked that you didn't expect that you would like, then you keep doing those things. So that's the beauty of just diving into various experiences and doing as much experience living as you can. Communication is more than just sharing information. It's really sharing yourself, your real self. Be transparent and honest, and you'll immediately connect with the people that you're trying to connect with. And yes, it can be risky to be authentic, transparent, honest. Some people may not like that version of you, that authentic version of you, that honest version of you, that transparent version of you. But you're not looking to get likes from every single person, because even if you're putting up a front and doing dishonest things, others will not like that either. So either way, the best way to go, the best route to go is just to be transparent and honest and authentic of who you are in your core. Express that out. And those who connect with that, that's your tribe. And those who do not connect with that, that's fine. They have their own tribe. Speakers who are open and real in their communication are attractive because they share their failures, not just their successes. People really admire hearing from others their own failures and successes, both of those things, because they recognize those things in their own experiences. Oh, I failed at that, or they don't have the courage themselves to openly speak out on their failures. And comedians do this all the time. They point out their flaws and they put it out there. Flaws that are recognizable on stage right then and there. And people find that funny because, one, the comedian is being transparent and honest and real and authentic, and being courageous too by pointing out those flaws and speaking out on those flaws and making fun of those flaws. But two is that they recognize those same flaws in themselves. And so they're sharing in on the laughter, the fun thought of, oh, I've experienced that before. I know exactly what you're saying. I'm now connecting with you, relating with you. Another way to build up credibility is to stay consistent. With whatever you're doing, stay consistent, stay the course, because what you repeatedly do tells others who you are. Because when you first meet somebody, they don't know if you're someone who's honest, trustworthy, consistent, someone who deeply cares about them, for example. They don't know that. They just know how you look, how you're coming across, how you carry yourself, and that's it. And then they're immediately making judgment on that based on past experience with somebody who's dressed like you, or who's speaking the way that you are, or who's communicating the way that you are, who's carrying themselves the way that you are, and that's it. And then it's up to you then to build that credibility, to build that trust by staying consistent. So consistency is crucial if you're looking to become a phenomenal communicator. And of course, trust, consistency, credibility takes time to compound and build up, but there's always a great return at the end if you stay the course. Remember, you cannot give what you do not have. So going back to stacking experiences and living out experiences, the weight of a communicator's words is determined by what they have accomplished, what they have experienced. Where have you been successful? What skills have you acquired that you can pass on to others? Also remember that trust is a person's greatest asset. See it as an investment that you're investing into, much like stocks or whatever, or real estate or whatever it may be. So when you speak to benefit others. Take your eyes off of yourself and put it on other people. Have your mindset right when you're out there communicating with others. It's not about you, it's about them. And if you think people can't sense your motives, your intentions, it's not true. They can sense it right away. They know if you're looking out for them or if you're looking out for yourself. Care about your listeners as people. Be authentic and transparent. And live what you speak, and people will like you. John Maxwell wrote how it took him time and energy to figure out how to add value to people, and how it took the earning of credibility to deliver on that desire. He had to, 1, find himself. He had to, 2, know himself. He had to, 3, be himself. He had to, 4, improve himself. He had to, 5, get over himself. And he had to, 6, give himself completely. So never stop working on improving yourself from the inside out. Now let's get into chapter 2. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. Speak as often as you can and apply what you learn. Use whatever techniques you can imitate, borrow, or steal. Chapter 2 is the law of observation. You can learn so much by just simply observing other people. Great communicators learn from great communicators by observation, by observing their actions, how they carry themselves, how they speak, what's their tonality, how they deliver on their message, how they put together their message, how they prepare for their message, how they deliver their message, all that and more. They learn by taking notes, mental or physical notes, and executing on those things that they are learning and observing those people in action. For stand-up comedy, I observed comedians I admired over and over and over and over again to download and absorb everything that represented them to be able to then put it out there on stage. The same goes for sales, management, leadership. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want to imitate and copy somebody else's technique, you should do that. All of us creatively copy things that have been successful. Movies are copies of each other. Shows are copies of each other. Music is copies of each other. Artwork is copies of each other. They just have slight tweaks in them to make them original. And that's what you're doing here in terms of communication, imitating what you see in others that you like and just putting it out there and just stepping into that new identity, that new person that you're trying to become, and just imitating and copying that, and then over time, shape that into your own unique self. Much like that song, that movie, that show, that piece of artwork. Over time, the copying will become an original piece of art, which is you and how you talk and how you communicate and how you express yourself. Because much of what you become in life depends on who you admire and copy. Who you will become as a communicator largely depends on who you choose to admire and who you choose to copy. So freely use whatever techniques you can imitate, borrow, or steal. Pay attention to what works and what doesn't work. Then adapt and figure out your own style using whatever works for you. So when it comes to communication, be intentional with how you carry yourself, the words that you speak, everything matters. Let's dive into chapter 3. Here's the quote that stood out to me the most. Conviction brings confidence, and confidence fuels conviction, as long as the focus is on helping others, not on advancing yourself. Chapter 3 covers the law of conviction. What belief do you have that is so strong that you would be willing to live your life for it? So important that you would be willing to give your life for it? That right there is a conviction for you. As a communicator, these are the very things, the topics that you should be focusing on. Because the stronger you feel about the message that you're putting out there to the audience, the more they feel what you're saying. Not only that, having convictions changes your life. Changes what you're going to do with your life, how you're going to live your life, everything. And so speaking with conviction changes other people's lives as well. Because they feel what you're saying and something resonates with them possibly. And if that's the case, it propels them to think about those things, take action on those things they never thought about before, or they never took action on before. If you want to be a phenomenal communicator, your motivation for speaking must be to make a difference in other people's lives. And to successfully make a difference in other people's lives, you must believe in your core that you can make a difference in other people's lives. People will recognize and see that you're looking out for them, and they'll hold you in high regard by recognizing that. What are your strongest personal convictions? Can you articulate them? Have you connected them to your purpose? Because if you haven't noticed already, any strong conviction that you hold carves out the purpose for your life. How you're going to live it, the things that you're going to do. Oftentimes, convictions act like anchors in a storm. When life is chaotic, out of control, you can fall back on your convictions, keep you in the right mindset and staying positive and adding value to others until the storm settles out. So again, what do you truly believe in? Do you know your convictions? If not, spend some time reflecting on this, taking some notes, journaling, whatever works for you, speaking into your phone, recording it, and unearthing and discovering what are your strong convictions. Because if convictions are like anchors in a storm, you're going to want convictions in your life. Because life is constantly chaotic, constantly out of control. You never know when those storms are going to hit. And when it comes to sales, the most successful sales people are the ones who are radically optimistic, even when it's chaotic, even when the storm is coming down nonstop. They stay level-headed, they stay consistent, they stay optimistic, and when the storm passes, they're still moving forward, staying level-headed, staying consistent, staying optimistic, staying the course of building that trust, that credibility, and being that rock, that person, that somebody that other people can look up to, that can go to. Not only that, but knowing your convictions and living out your convictions, that builds confidence. And if you're looking to build confidence, start with convictions and knowing what your convictions are. Because confidence is passion and belief that you can make things happen, that you've lived out, that you've experienced that very thing over and over and over again. You've learned, you've researched that thing over and over and over again, so much so that you know it from the inside out. That builds confidence. So remember, conviction brings confidence, and confidence fuels conviction. Also remember, when you speak, your conviction becomes contagious when your focus is on others and what they can gain from your message. Ask yourself, are you convinced that what you say makes an impact in other people's lives? Believe in the power of your words. When you carry conviction, you become certain. And certainty shows strength. If you are authentic, stand for something, live good values, and give your best, you will always strengthen the people, the audience who you're talking to. Let's get into chapter 4. Here's a quote that stood out to me the most. Spectacular performance is always preceded by unspectacular preparation. Chapter 4 is the law of preparation. Without proper preparation, communication does not soar. It falls flat. The best communicators, the most phenomenal communicators, always prepare. We're always tempted to want to take that shortcut to wing that next speech, for example, to save 10 hours of preparation time that could be used toward whatever else that you want to do rather than the preparation itself. And yeah, that speech could turn out okay. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be phenomenal. But at least you still did it and it was fine and it's whatever. People are going to forget about it. But no, it's more than that. Preparation is an investment and it will pay off in the end. If you put in the work to do it, to prepare, it will show tremendous results. If you work for it, stay the course, stay consistent, success is inevitable. So when it comes to communication, your first audience is yourself. Put in the work to put together that script if you need to put together a script. Go to a quiet room, rehearse what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, everything like that. Maybe you record it if you need to, review it, see what works, what doesn't work, what can be taken out, what can be added. You yourself are the very first audience for your message. And remember, you want to empower the people that you're communicating with. You want to empower the audience that you're talking to. That is why we put in the work. That is why we prepare. And your first few practices, your first few go-at-its, they're going to suck. They're going to be terrible. That's why you want to do those rehearsal sessions. That's why you want to put in the work to prepare for those things so you can bring your best to your audience, to the person who you're talking to, for example. And why do you want to bring your best to your audience, to the person you're talking to? Because they deserve it. And when they feel that you prepared, when they feel that you're bringing your best to them, you'll immediately be rewarded. Whether it's just celebrating that victory of the work that you put in to bring your best to the table, or if it's them giving you a massive compliment, it's going to come back to you immediately. And you're going to feel great that you put in the work, that you brought your best to the table so that they could transform and feel the message that you wanted to portray. Every time before you speak, you want to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, experimentally. And so ask yourself, do I know what I'm talking about? Do I feel what I'm talking about? And do I live what I'm talking about? Always try to exceed your audience's expectations and continually raise the bar for yourself. Set your standards high and keep them high. They should be higher than the standards anyone else would set for you. Because in the end, you have to live with yourself, judge yourself, and feel good about yourself. And when you're living up to your highest potential, other people will notice. They will always notice. So remember, people who work at it get results. I hope this has been helpful. It's been a lot of fun covering chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the 16 Undeniable Laws of Communication by John Maxwell. We'll be covering other chapters of this book in future videos, so look out for those videos to come. And I'll see you in the next video.